Okay, so I'd like to quickly clarify that I have already recorded this video once. Only all the footage is corrupted. It's well, I mean it's not corrupted, but it's just a single screenshot. Like that's the only footage. You can hear the audio fine, but you can just see a single screenshot from when I started recording, and it doesn't actually record video. I don't know what went wrong. But I'm gonna have to refilm this entire video, and it is currently Monday. It is 4:28 p.m. and I've got to get this out today. So this video is slightly rushed, but that's okay. We're gonna go through and do this again. I can cover the things that I already covered, and hopefully I can find another example. If not, I'll just have to describe what happened with the first example. And yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to cover in this video is the party finder problem. This is probably the most common one, but it's also probably the worst one. So this one is really important. Where for the longest time now, this has been going on well over a year as far as I'm aware. If you go into party finder, pick a random floor. Sometimes they don't have it. Most of the time there will be at least a floor that does. Here's an example. The note will say S plus perm VC, no need to talk, and then you join the party. I'm blocked from this one because I already called this earlier. It's the same guy, but what they'll do is they invite you to their private island where there's signs telling you to join Discord, and they tell you need to verify. And then if you do, then they take your account. The verification thing that they do is a scam, where they get you to enter like your Microsoft details, whatever the hell, and they just take the account completely. And this problem, I'd really like to show you it, if I could, to show you what it looks like. But the one that's up right now seems to be the one that's blocked me. There was another one earlier as well on floor 4, but this one seems to be gone, which is good. And they don't seem to be happening on these lower tiers right now, these lower floors, but they walk you to their island, and they'll have a small box which will be quartz, chiseled quartz, and they'll have signs that tell you to join a Discord server and to verify and join the VC. And then if you join the Discord and you verify, they take your account, enter your Microsoft account details to verify. And that's a Microsoft account, it's not just Minecraft. So you lose your Minecraft account, you lose your OneDrive, you lose your Xbox games, you lose anything affiliated with your Microsoft account, which is usually a lot, okay? And so that's really important that you keep that safe. Do not verify on any of these. They are just scams. Most of them are AI run as well. I would have shown earlier. I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, there we go. I can scroll up. So there was 2 that I joined. The first one was this one, the one that I just showed you, where they traveled to their private island and then invite me to visit. So you visit their island. He says, "Yo, what's up? Saturate me for details," and then your username. And then if you visit them, it does say here, "Don't enter your Microsoft account," but they still do it. So clearly this doesn't work. This clearly isn't effective. That there needs to be more of an enforcement beyond this. But if you ask why do you scam people, they just kick you. 'Cause it's an AI, it's a program. They're not gonna cooperate and talk. And to prove this point further, I joined the other one. This one was on the floor 4 one. Same exact message. So you know that's my proof that it's a robot. And again, the red text, sure, it is a warning, but it's just not good enough. There needs to be something more that prevents this. And why do you scam people? And I got kicked, and I've been blocked by them both now. There's nothing you can actually do about it, really, or at least as a player. Like you can't get rid of these guys from being there. I think the best way for this to be dealt with properly would be for Hypixel to bring back the helper role. And I know this is kind of crazy because they did get rid of the helper role, it used to exist. But the helper, from what I remember, if I'm thinking correctly, was volunteered position, So it wouldn't cost Hypixel literally anything. It was a volunteer position where people, I believe they had the power to chat mute, if I'm correct. And other than that, they were just basically chat mods. But this could literally solve the problem. If you could chat mute the people running these, then they wouldn't be able to tell them to like join VC or whatever, and like put the things there. Sure, they'd still be able to like invite you to visit or whatever. But let's say you gave helpers the permission to take people's ability of Party Finder away for either a limited time or permanently, then that could really actually fix this problem, or at least slow it down a lot and make it a lot less effective, therefore giving less encouragement to the scammers to keep going. Because obviously they are still doing it, so it's clearly still working, even though they've added the red text. Alright, well, I'm just going to demonstrate what happened, because there's no one doing it now. So I feel like I need to just demonstrate it myself. But basically, what was happening was there was a guy who was still over here, who was saying that whoever gave him like the most enchanted iron, or the most enchanted wool, or the most whatever, would win a rare item. So the first thing that he was doing was like full like maxed out set of Necron armor. Then it was like a legendary griffin that was level 100. And there were like at least 4 or 5 different people who were sprinting from Bazaar to and from here, bringing millions of coins worth of resources to this guy to try and give the most and win the item, because they were under the impression that they'd get the item for cheaper than it was worth. And so they would bring all the items over to try and win. And then the guy would give the items to his friend, who was a quote-unquote another competitor. And he would say, oh, this guy won. And then he would just leave. And then he would sell all the stuff that the people gave him, make millions, and then his friend would just give the item back. Which is really scummy. It's just prying on kids who don't know any better and think they're going to get an item for a discounted price. And the guy who was doing this, I'd just like to pause the video right here and say that originally I was going to name drop the people who had been doing these scams, but while editing I realised that the more likely than not, the people doing this scam in particular are probably children themselves. They're probably very young, and I don't want any hate being sent towards anyone, even if they're a scammer. It should be up to them to realise their wrongdoings, and I don't condone any kind of like foul play towards these people. So I'm going to edit out the name drops. I'm going to blank anywhere where it shows their usernames, even though in the original video I was mentioning it and referring to them as the actual game names. And so I'm just going to cut that out, because I realised that that's probably not the right thing to do, and they're probably just young kids who don't know any better. I was able to speak to this guy yesterday when I was recording it originally, in one of the clips that is just a screenshot. So unfortunately I don't still have the chats. But essentially I asked him if he felt bad for what he was doing, like if he had any feeling of remorse whatsoever. To which he said no, and that he didn't care about the kid's feeling. Which is, that's already a bit of a red flag. This guy doesn't care about kids' feelings after he scams them. But it was sort of already a given, he's scamming, so he's going to do it anyway. And then I asked him, I was like, well, why are you doing it? Because unlike the people who are taking Microsoft accounts, or who are scamming people out of money by inviting you to parties and telling you to like, buy coins through their Discord or their shop or whatever, this guy literally gains nothing from it except Skyblock coins. And he refused to answer the question, but I do genuinely believe that is why. He wanted his virtual coin number to go up, and so he was ruining kids' days because of it. There was one kid who got scammed out of a good amount. There was one guy on the island as well who was with me at the time, who said, I believe it was like I don't know if it was 80k or something. It was a lot. I don't think it was quite 80k. It might have been 8k. But it was a hell of a lot. Oh no, it might have been more than that. I don't know. It was a lot of enchanted wool though. And it's a lot of money for especially someone who's obviously young to lose, which is really quite sad. And then there's another guy as well who was called, I think, and he actually got compensated by the guy. He guilt tripped him into giving him some of the money back. So credit for getting some of his money back. But like this guy has made so much money probably on his profile. I haven't actually checked to see how much he's got. But I'm certain he's got more money, like infinitely more money than he deserves. And he's just done it through scamming kids. And his partner in crime, who was saying was winning, and who he gave in his example was a full set of Enchanted Necron, like maxed out Necron armor. The person who won that was his friend. I went to his island after I got kicked off of the other guy's island, and I was saying to this guy, I was like, hey, so like, why do you do that with your friend? And then he was saying, he was like, oh, well, you know, I don't really care about the kids. It's not they're losing a lot. It's just, you know, virtual coins, which, you know, fair enough. They're not losing a lot, no. But they're young, they're impressionable, they fall for these things, and they're taking advantage of that for their own personal gain. And even then, it's not a lot. It's literally, as they said, just Skyblock coins. And it's just such a selfish thing to do, especially when you consider the average age of people in this game. So just make sure you're being very careful when you're playing Skyblock. Be careful, people. There are people doing scams. There are people who are malicious. There are people who are trying to take from you. Because they have nothing better to do. And it's sad, yes. And it's really poor behaviour from the people who are doing it, yes. They're not going to change. That is an undoubtable fact. So you still have to move on and accept that these people exist. Which is tragic. I did try to get them to reform. I did speak to them. I was like, would your parents be proud of this? They were just dodging the question. The guy was calling me lame, saying I was a 35-year-old man who was sat on Minecraft, complaining to scammers. I may not be 35, and I may be lame, but I don't think I'm quite as lame as the guy who's scamming kids on Skyblock, so I think I've at least got that up over him. Anyway, this video wasn't meant to be like anything huge. It's just meant to be a minor heads up. I don't really want to do like a proper documentary sort of thing on this and dive deep into some of these scams, but since the footage yesterday corrupted of me actually having this discussion with them, I don't really have a lot of the evidence now that I would have had, unfortunately. I wish I could provide the proper evidence of this. There are multiple witnesses, but other than that, that's what I can really say, which is unfortunate because it means that these guys are going to get away with it. Their accounts aren't going to face any consequences because there's no proof they're actually scamming unless someone has their chat logs or someone else has footage of it. So neither of them are going to get banned, neither of them are going to receive a warning. They're going to keep doing this, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully me talking to them will have been enough, and hopefully me making this video will at least teach a couple of people, hey, be careful, there's not some great people on this, you know. Like, Skyblock, the community as a whole is good, right? Don't get me wrong, most people are out there to do good. But there's some people who are out there to specifically target those who are vulnerable and take their coins because they want to be better than everyone else in a block game. Which, while it's sad, it is true, and that is the way that goes. Now, unfortunately, I do also have more clips that I could have used in this video, but again, due to like name dropping people and stuff, and there being just a whole lot of nothing burgers really coming out of my mouth at the time when I was actually recording it, I decided I'd just do a quick voiceover conclusion. I did briefly cover two other types of scams, one being people asking for collateral when crafting things and taking more collateral than the item's worth and then leaving, and the other being IRL trading, which obviously is bannable and you risk losing your account anyway if you are doing that. So both of which just obviously avoid, unless if you're doing trading and you're doing some collateral, make sure it's someone who you trust and not a complete stranger, and make sure the values are correct. Do your research. But I basically just summarised another 8 minutes worth of clips in about 30 seconds. And really, I don't have much else to say, other than, as I said before, Hypixel add helpers back. They could be a useful solution to try to tackle the problem of scammers. My Skyblock profile is 5 years and 1 month old. These types of scams have existed since the start, and they've not gotten any better. There are still kids falling for these scams every single day, and I think from Hypixel's point of view, that is quite poor. They have done stuff to try and combat it, such as that red text saying don't give away your Microsoft details, but I really felt that's not enough and they could really do more. So this video is mostly just a heads up. Just don't give your info out. Stay safe. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good day. Sorry this video was rushed. It was supposed to be a proper documentary, as I said, but the other clips were corrupted, so you can't actually see me talking to those guys who I was talking to. So yeah, hope you have a good day, and hopefully you didn't get scammed, and I will see you next Monday for another full video, or in between for shorts, because that is the schedule here on the MiniQuack channel. Also, more Twitch streams coming soon, I promise. I swear I've not abandoned my Twitch. Right then. Yeah. Goodbye.